Okay, so big news, especially for me, because, no, I just had that set up. Okay, sorry. Yeah, got a flute. Yeah, and I bought myself some J-Cloths. If you're gonna get a flute, get some of these. It's cheaper than getting the whole maintenance kit, unless you actually need it, especially with a used flute like I have. Regular flutes cost $300 to $400 at Drayton School of Music in Sears, I guess. So that's run by Derek Moore. And he'll have to order one in, or he'll have to go to his other store to get it, so you might not get it right away if you live in Drayton and you want one. And don't just go buy one, because they're a little bit harder to play than you'd figure. The way you play one is, okay, I'm going to teach you, at least from my perspective, being an amateur, because let's face it, I don't know really how to play any of the instruments I do. I just know how to do cheap tricks on them. So, yeah, that's basically how you clean it. You take the spit cloth, or the J-cloth, as they are actually called, and you stick it in the hole. Basically, what you want to do is you want to look at this piece to start. See how that changes the pitch? That's cool. I just found that out now. Okay, so what I like the most about the flute is when I play my music, or when I really get into it and I'm just in the zone, all you'll see is this will go from to, and I'll just be like totally mellow, which is totally opposite for me, because I'm basically Tigger. Yeah, I'm ADHD. Okay, Tigger's ADHD. The bouncy bouncy something fun. It's fun for Tigger, but it ain't fun for everybody else. Okay? And I know that. But I don't care. Because I'm having fun. Okay, anyway. So this is the mouthpiece. What you want to do is the thick part here. The way that I look at it is the mouth is sticking out a tongue. So you want the tongue to sit on your chin, your bottom lip to touch, and it's just like blowing over a beer bottle. The next part for assembling it, if you're assembling it, you're going to want to make sure that you don't bend this and you don't play with any of the under wires. If it gets broken, any of the wires underneath, which all of them are important, take it to a store that does it professionally. Derek said, so if you're in the Drayton, Arthur area, or in this area, there's a store in Arthur. He said the name, I can't remember the name. So if you're gonna go and get a flute and you need to get it repaired, there's a store, a music store in Arthur, he said to take it to, because he doesn't know what to do with it. Anyway, so when you're sticking it in, the way you want to look at it, the two holes is part 2. So you see this? 2 buttons, part 2. Part 2 goes into part 1. 1 hole. Okay, never play with the tuning peg. That's this little spinny thingy up here. Part 3. So the way that I look at it, 3 little buttons up top, part 3. So it works the same as a recorder almost, and it's in the same family. It's made of brass, but it is a woodwind. So it works the same as a flute, or recorder, which I have one of those lying around here somewhere. And that the sound goes through the hole, and by shortening the hole, or playing around with the length of the hole, playing around with the length of the hole changes the pitch. So if you've ever wondered how one of these things work, or how your recorder from grade 3 worked, that's how. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to look and see if this is bent. And it looks to me like, I'm not an expert at this, but it looks to me like it's a little bent, but as long as I can get it out for A flat, I'm good. So when you're putting it away, be careful. If you have a flute, that you don't bend that too much. I may go get the flute just checked over in Arthur, if I can remember what the store is called. And at school, I had the worst flute in the world, and at the end of the year, I decided I'd try to switch it because every week a valve would come undone, and I found out after a while that it wasn't me, it was the flute itself. So if you get that flute where one of the little metal thingies comes off all the time. Is this missing one? No, it's in there. Okay. But anyway, the little metal piece came off, and each little piece is important. So if you're at St. James and you're thinking of doing the flute, go for it. It's fun, as long as you don't mind spit coming out the end of this thing. That's why we have the spit cloth. Also, I would suggest you buy yourself a spit cloth, because I asked Miss Dinette to give me a spit cloth for like 3 weeks in a row, and it didn't happen. So, she eventually gave me one, but that thing smelled bad. So if you're planning on playing the flute, don't go for the trumpet, okay? The trumpet is hard. I've tried the trumpet. Like, if you want to sit there for like 3 days while everybody else is getting sound out of their instruments, the two hardest to get sound out of is the flute and the trumpet. The trumpet is worse. So anything with a mouthpiece that you have to contort your mouth for. So I would recommend taking a band class, because all the antics that go on in there are entertaining in themselves, as are some of the songs you play, as long as you have a decent band teacher like we did. So yeah, just watch out for that flute if you're at St. James and you're thinking of taking a band class. Because that was my flute. And it sucks. But I loved it. And the thing with me is that I think I've already said this a couple times. I play by ear. Every single thing I play is mostly by ear. I can read music, but just barely. And that's thanks to taking 12 plus. That's how come I can translate guitar chords onto the piano now. It's because of 12 plus. And taking a band class in that year. As well as that was the reason why my mind got screwed up again. Anyway, that's a story for another time. So, without further ado, I'm not going to beatbox with the flute, so if you guys who were in my band class are watching this, I'm sorry to disappoint you. But I am going to play a song that I played for the grade 8 class that came in my grade 12 year, I think it was, or 12 plus. I don't know. Roar by Katy Perry. Yeah. So that's basically it. This is my new baby. I am going to keep going with the violin. So if my violin teacher sees this, don't worry. Not giving up on the violin completely yet. Because it's hard, because I'm not physiologically made for the violin. But with the way that my lips move when I'm concentrating on my music, I'm made for this thing. See? See? What did I tell you? True story. Anyway, bye-bye.